We just finished doing a talk here at my Next Level Experience Bootcamp. We share some of our stories, Vivian's stories about how to connect deeper with your partner. So we wanted to share this video with you to see, kind of get an insight of some of the topics and discussions that we're having here at the live events.
Yes, there were some amazing questions, and I think each and every one of the questions not only helps us, but it we pray that it helps you. We pray that it gives you some awareness of what relationships could be like and what is it that you could do to make that lasting change. This is Vivian Velasquez.
And this is Raul Velasquez.
Welcome to the God, Money, and Purpose podcast.
So the question is, if a woman is in her masculine, fully masculine, and she is a powerful alpha female, how do you, as a man, gain her respect? How do you get her to respect you? That was the question.
Yeah. Well, I think as a man, you have to continue to do the work. You have to show up and fight for the things that you believe in. I feel like I'm a beauty contestant here. Like, here, let me tell you what I think. I'm going to win. Because if you're not showing up, then it gives her the permission to show up even more, just because she's been wearing this masculine armor, I would say, because all the things that she's gotten thus far are all great. But does she have the chance to go home and take all that off, strip it all off, and then become this beautiful feminine woman that, see, I know a lot of women now are in the industries of CEOs and bankers or whatever you may call it. But at the same time, they're not fulfilled. They're not happy because they don't have someone to come back home to and just lay their head on his shoulders. That's what we long for. We could have all this kingdom behind us, but who do we share that with? And if you show up for her, if you are the man that you need to be in that kingdom, trust me, all that stuff is going to mean shit to her because she has her man in her house waiting for her. You guys are there together and she knows what she could accomplish because we want to do that. But I think now also the roles are a little bit changed just because men are not willing to show up. So it almost forces us to go and do that. Yes, some women love to do that. Good for them. But if you ask each and every one of those women, would they trade what they have to have love at home, to someone to hold them, to caress them, to say I got you, I'm not going anywhere? She would give it all up.
It's beautiful. I mean, I don't know how much more I could add to that, but here's my take. A lot of men are confused about being married to alpha women. A lot of men don't know how to connect with an alpha woman. And we've been conditioned to believe that in order for you to be the man, it means that you have to make more money than the person that you're with. It means that you have to be in control. It means that you have to have all these rules. But I think that we have to start rewiring, what does it mean for you to be happy? So it's not about who's in control, who's not in control, who's the alpha, who's making more money. It's about who is making each other happy. If you're happy, everybody has masculine and feminine. And if your woman has masculine and you have feminine and the polarity is there and you're happy, fucking be happy. Don't let the society, the culture say, well, you have to be a certain way and she has to be a certain way. You have to find what's the polarity. And again, I think that what you're asking is more, how does she respect me? Respect is earned by you respecting her. Respect is earned the moment that she's coming home and she has a lot of shit in her shoulders for you to say, hey, I got you. What's going on with you? Tell me, I'm here to hold the space for you and become the vessel that you need for you to trust me. Women respect somebody that they could trust. If you betray her trust, then you're not going to get respect. If you can't hold the space for her, you're not going to get respect. If you can be the rock and you run away every time she throws a tantrum and she's pushing back, she's going to lose respect. So all those things, you have to look at, how do I gain the respect for my woman? Is by you being the fucking rock that no matter what she's doing, you're going to be there for her. And if she knows that when she comes home from a hard day of work and she's dealing with all this shit that's going on in her company because she's a CEO, she's a badass in business, she needs to have somebody at home that she could trust and say, this is what's going on. And this is where you come in with no judgment. no judgment, and said, hey, I got you. I got you. And a woman will melt in your arms if you just exude trust and she knows that you're not going anywhere and you accept her for who she is, not for who she thinks she has to be. Next question. So the question is, what did I do when I was going through a tunnel to get you on board on the personal growth?
Okay, so like I said before, when you guys are in the tunnel, it's a sacred space for only you. And I think now looking back, what I felt is like I felt alone, and I thought that Raul was the only person there for me because we've been married so long and so young. I didn't realize like there are other women out there that. So let me just take it back a little bit. In the past, we women, ancient times, we would gather together in circles and we would dance and we would sing and we would cry and we would do whatever women do together. And fast forward to our society today, we are so isolated from that. And we depend on this one person. I depended on this one person to take care of all my needs. I wanted him to be my hairy girlfriend. I wanted him to be my lover. I wanted him to be my spiritual guru. I wanted him to, have this amazing sexual experience, to be the best partner I could be. Like, I wanted everything from this one person. And when that one person was gone in that tunnel, in his space, in his journey, in his transition, then kind of left me like, I have no one. Then it's like, what about me? What about me? Wait, what happened? Like, I have no one. So what did I do? It's more than what did he do? Because when he was in that space, it actually gave me the time, and I have to give myself the permission to actually look for something else. And that something was a book that women have gone through the same thing. That something was a dance class that I needed to move my body because I haven't moved my body in God knows how long. That space was showing up with different women, finding a community. It took me a long time. It was very difficult for me to do that. But the more that I saw that Raul was actually growing and he was showing up every single day, there was not one day. I don't even know how long he's been doing his ritual. Every single day, rain or shine, whether we are in events, whether we are in family vacations, resorts, airports, it doesn't matter. He'll do his ritual because that's where he gathers his energy from. He doesn't care. So I would see him and it's like, okay, he's serious. Like he's going to be this man. He's going to be a king. So then what about me? Like, I think I want to be a queen too. How do I start that? I don't even know where to begin that. Right. And then it gave me the permission, and I gave myself the permission to say like, well, what women have done this? And we have very little role models when it comes to marriages. Like if I asked you right now, can you name 5 marriages that are like, extraordinary marriages that you want to duplicate? 5. Just tell me 5. Right? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to come up with those names like this. But then it's like, how did I want to be that woman? How did I want to have that marriage? So what did Raul do for me? He did the work persistently, consistently, and I know that he wasn't going anywhere. It gave me the permission to look for other women. It gave me the permission to ask questions that how did I need it to grow too, even if I didn't want to grow.
So first thing is you can give something you don't have. You can't help her if you can't help yourself. So the first step is you have to get yourself out of the tunnel. You have to help yourself. You have to get stronger. You have to start getting emotionally more fit. You have to really work on yourself. But the moment that I was already strong enough to make a decision, said, okay, let me help my queen. Let me help my wife to hold a space. Before I will blame her because I was in my tunnel. I wasn't, going through my situations. But afterwards, just what she said, persistence and consistency. She will see what you do, not what you say. It's not like, oh, I'm going to change. I'm going to do this. Wait. No, what are you doing right now? Are you showing up? Are you doing the work? How are you treating your kids? How are you allocating time, quality time? Are you speaking her love language? Seduction. At the end of the day, what she probably doesn't know is I was trying to seduce her little by little to come on board. And seduction is when you actually help somebody do something that maybe they don't even know they're gonna do. So little by little, I was seducing her into like, okay, let's come into this personal development, come into the next level experience. Let's help some couples, let's help some people. And at the beginning, she's like, I don't want to have nothing to do with what you're doing. Now, we're not perfect. How can we teach people if we're in a place, when we have our shit together? I said, it's not about having our shit together. It's about showing them the journey. But little by little, the seduction, which means feed and seed greatness on people. So remind her how amazing she is. I remind her how proud I am of her. I remind her, instead of nagging at her, telling her all the things that she could have done, I brought to light all the things that she did. An amazing mother, an amazing, wife, all the things she did. So that way it will lift her up. And women are like flowers. Whatever you're feeding, putting water on, focusing on, it grows. The problem is that we are constantly focusing on our business most of the time, that we come home in an empty tank and we forgot to flower,
I also think
water our flowers at home.
Like when you see, I often ask women, like, this is like going fast forward, but like, when do you feel desired for your man, right? Especially if you've been married for so long. And it's when we have that space, a space that's like far, but not too far, where I can't see you, but where I can see you and you are a different person, a person that I don't know, a person that all of a sudden like who is this woman, right? So like, imagine that you go back home and you become curious about this woman that you've been with, this person, the partner that you've been with, and you start to ask and you're curious. And then it's like you're bringing this seduction of like, what can we do together? Do you want to do it? You want to know what I'm doing? Like, hey, honey, like this is where I'm going. Like, I would love to see you here with me. So it's like you're planting that seed, you're watering that plant. And that's where the seduction kind of starts too for me, because you're not really telling her what you want her to do. You're just planting that seed.
And one thing to add to that is the book, The 5 Love Languages, to really start zoning into the love language that your partner is. And there's nothing more beautiful to see in a woman when she feels desire. I mean, I think that's like the ultimate energy for a woman to feel passion, is when she feels wanted, when she feels desire, when she feels like she's the center of your world. And I think as men, we need to do a better job in really looking at our women and start becoming more curious and finding out what are the little things that could turn her on, what little things that she likes, what are the things that I could find about her. Not just because you've been with her for 10, 20 years, mean that, you can find something new about her. So the same thing that happens in your business. In your business, shit gets boring. You know how to make money. You make money one time, and then what happens? Usually we get bored and we start another business or another project. Same thing with our relationship. We have to find what is the thing that could bring that spark back. And that's curiosity, asking questions, trying different things. One of the things that we did is we hired a sex coach. The sex coach introduced us to, 20, 30 ways of having orgasms. I only knew a handful of ways. At most, one. Right? There you go. And then the sex coach really introduced us to different things.
We're up to 5.
And I'm a slow learner. But it's just letting go of the ego as a man and saying, I know everything, or I'm not willing to learn. Give yourself the opportunity to, I need to learn from different masters. I need to learn from different modalities, and that's what's going to really bring in that spark in your life, because now we have resources, man, like the internet. I mean, there's so much information out there.
It's just, information is not enough. It's like you have to implement it in your life.
Yeah.
Because we could learn all these things, right? And I think it's more like asking questions. These questions, like we live in this world that we could talk about sex so freely, and we could say the words and we could say all these things and watch different things and do different things. Yet we don't have conversations like this with our spouse, with our partners, with our lovers. Like, When do you sit down and ask these questions? And that's the cool part. Like, we could do that. Even like you saying that, like, about desire, like, what is desire to you? And like me thinking that, it's like the things that you do now, like, it's so amazing how just desire sparks. When I ask Raul for something, he does it like in a heartbeat. I asked him for something the other day. What was it that turned me on? Oh, because we're gonna travel and we didn't have a will done, right? That's what it was. We don't have a will done. And I think it was the next day, I got an email from the attorney that the will is done. Like, we had to go in and do the final preparations. But like, I asked him that the night before, and then he got it done the next day. That for me was like, oh my God, the desire to just fuck this man. Because he did that for me. Like, oh my God, he did that for me. Like, I am like so in love with him. Right?
And you see, it could be just it could be just as little as doing the shit that they are giving us feedback on. I mean, just listening. What Vivian's love language is, she wants to be seen, she wants to be listened to, she wants to be desired. And the moment that we actually listen to our women, they will tell us what turns them on. They will tell us how they want to be loved.
Yeah. And you need to ask. And it's ever changing. We don't know love. Nobody could become, if anybody tells you like they're an expert in love, it's bullshit, because love is ever changing.
Yeah,
like, we can never know love. Like, love changes every single day, especially for us women. Like, if we are in tune to what really love is, it's always changing. It's never the same for us.
Next question. Beautiful. So the question was, how do I give my wife more confidence, right? So
it's beautiful that you want to give her confidence, but confidence you can't give her. It's something that she needs to feel. It's something like, I'm sure Raul wanted to give me that a long time, because we see in each other, especially when we're married so young, we kind of see in each other like how amazing you are. So she sees in you, and then you see in her, right? That's like the constant reminder, the promise that Raul and I have. It's like, if I forget, you remind me. We have that reminder. But the thing too with like, when we as women, like, we have this energies that we run, right? Of our mothering energy, our temptress energy, and our queen energy that I talk to women a lot about. And we as women, we're so connected to the mothering energy. We're always there. We live there like 90% of the time we're living there. We don't know how to put that one aside and look for our temptress energy. And that's, I feel like a lot of our confidence comes from our temptress energy and our queen energy, but we don't have access to it. We've put those energies in a box, stored it in our closet, and it's collecting dust. The minute that we have this awareness of like, okay, well, I need to make something come alive again in my body, come alive in my being. Let me get curious about what's in that box again. You open the box and there's so much in there that sometimes we question it. Is my husband going to be okay with it? Because my validation comes from how he sees me. My confidence comes from being this person that he knows. And all of a sudden when it starts to change, and it's like, is he still going to love me? Is he still going to see me for who I am? So I talked to a lot of the women about going back and just remembering who you were at the beginning. Like, remembering where the confidence doesn't really come. A lot of the women forget, right? Like, God forgot. And because I am so based on God's principles, then I tell them like, well, don't forget what you think. What does God think about you? Who he made? And then all of a sudden it's like the burden is taking off from you. Then it's God. Can you question him, who he made? Could you question this perfection of a goddess that you are, that you could actually give birth to another human being? Could you actually question that you could walk into the room and grab the gaze of all the men, and not with the wrong intention, but with the intention of like just being a woman? And you know, like, that confidence to get built up again takes time, takes work, takes awareness. But, you know, like, if we get a little glimpse of that confidence of what it feels like if your wife was to just feel it for a minute, then she'll get hooked again and she'll remember, right? So it's just her, one, being around other women. You continue, like, you're such a loving husband for her. Like, I think what you could do is like continue to tell her, like Raul says, like, water that flower, continue to water that flower for her to have the strength and the confidence in her to go look for more. Right. And I don't know, just maybe get her to watch our podcast, get her to watch my,
because I'm on a path, I'm on a journey. Yes, but I want to make sure that I don't go and leave them behind, right? And so that this is why I'm asking. I want to make sure that, every step of the way, we're all.
Yeah, because you're sharing your vision, right? Like, that's what Raul did for me all the time. When he was like 10 steps ahead, he would kind of like, okay, well, let me tell you where I'm going. With the intention of like, I want you by my side. I love you. I am not going anywhere. I'm here for you. But he never stopped. He never stopped. And that's also like honoring yourself. Like, you need to fight for what you believe in, because there is nothing more sexy, more desirable than having a man by your side that knows what he wants. So your purpose in life, whatever it is, like, don't stop. Don't stop that for her, for anyone. As much as I love women and I stand for marriages, that's what gets the marriage to continue. Is like you being so strong in your purpose, so strong into what you believe in. Right? And we have our, I have actually created just recently, stepping into like, yes, I'm going to do this, right? A Facebook page for women. It's a private page, and I called it Born to be a Queen. So I'm just, having conversations with women, just allowing them to see like what is possible if you step into this queen mentality, and what does it take? What does it look like for you? And I mean, I've gotten some really great feedback, and I'm doing a lot more advertisement, social media. So if you could get her to connect with me through that and just see videos, like most of the time, especially like the women that I talk to, they're between their 40s and 45s, right? Have been married, have been in love 10, 20 plus years, have kids. They love their husbands. But what is the next thing? Like, we're in a good marriage. How can you make it great? How can you make it exceptional, extraordinary? And that happens when you feel that. When you feel great and extraordinary about yourself, then it's like it flourishes. It's contagious. And that's my journey right now, is to get women to feel what I feel, because, I heard a quote somewhere that said something like, we have been in the same relationship and we probably just continue to have different versions of ourselves. And you marry that new version and the new version and the new version of yourself in that relationship. But you give yourself permission to be that person.
So I will say 3 things. Number 1 is praise. Praise her. Don't judge her, praise her. Number 2 is trust her. Let her know that she's got it. One of the main things that I always remind Vivian is like, I don't know if I'm always gonna be there alive, right? I want to believe that the kingdom will continue to grow whether I'm here or not. So I trust her in her decisions. I trust her and empower her. And the third is just paint the vision. Paint the vision and make her part of your vision. Don't put too much pressure on her for her to be maybe somebody that needs to be leading the way, because what happened with Vivian and I, the moment I said, okay, here's a vision. You need the woman, I need the man. You got this? She was like, no, fuck no. I don't want to be the leader of women. So that's a lot of pressure for her. And then instead of empower her, actually made her feel like she wasn't enough. Because that's what we do as men sometimes. Like, oh shit, like, I'm going to paint the vision. I'm going to put you in the front line just with me. No, you sign up for that. You're the one in the front line. So you paint the vision of where you're going, and then you let her know where she could be, what role she could play, whatever she chooses to play. And as she comes along, her confidence increases. Then she'll be like, okay, then all of a sudden, then she's going to have her own podcast and take over, and she'll speak over you in the podcast, just like Vivian is taking over my podcast or our podcast, and then little by little, you're like, oh shit, I'm getting left behind. I need to find my edge. I need to go to the next level. And then you start playing the game again. And that's the beautiful thing. And also on the vision part, also, if your woman is I want to say an introvert, but her energy is internal, just make sure that you paint in the vision that is a year, 6 months from now. Because for internals, if you paint the vision He's going to be a decade from now. It brings them pain, uncertainty, and she doesn't believe you. If your woman is internal, where you want to say, okay, here's what I'll do 6 months from now. Like, 6 months from now, maybe a year might even be a little too much. Keep the vision close, because Vivian is very internal. And I could tell she gets stressed out when I'm talking about, 10 years from now. But she gets excited when I'm like, okay, we're going to go on vacation 3 months from now. And let's plan it. Or now she has her power, because internal, like, I want to see things, I want to feel things close to me, not too far from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I would say, just if you didn't talk about date nights and sex nights, it's very important for
quality time
connection.
Quality time. One thing that I recommend, and we do this at least once a quarter. Now once a quarter, we try to do it once a month, is a sex date. You need to have a sex date. It doesn't mean that, when I talk to people about, hey, having sex date, what are you talking about? Like, I can't convince my wife to have sex at home. I'm not convinced her to have a sex date. Like, no. Again, the seduction comes in, right? Like, maybe just take one day off, rent a hotel room locally, and just connect. Doesn't mean that you have to have sex. Don't put the pressure on her. Like, oh, I'm hoping that, this time you're going to blow my mind. It's like, no, there's too much for women. If the pressure for women to even perform, guys, we're different. We just get turned on and, we're on and off. Women, they're different. So more quality time. Get some dates to have some quality time, connect. And little by little, you start convincing her to having some sex dates.
Yeah, definitely start with the date night. If you're not doing date night, do the date night first. It's life-changing. I think that's really what has gone, for ours is like the next level is really committing to being together on that one day every week. Like, that's religiously, like we get together once a week. And then our sex nights it's more just connecting and just being with each other. And there's something about plugging women out of their environment where they are, taking care of the kids. Like, there's mothering energy. Like, you live there. Everything is calling your name. Everything's calling your attention. Like, I got to take care of everything and everyone around me. You take her out of that environment and you put her in a beautiful hotel room where everything is perfect. And even if it's not, like, we don't care because it doesn't belong to us. Then it's like, oh, I have time. I could actually take care of me and then I'll take care of you. So it's that energy of like, can I explore my temptress? Can I dress something different? Can I make a different noise because my kids won't hear me? So it's that intention that you want to create, especially when you've been married for so long. We forget to do these things. We forget to innovate. We forget to do the things that we did at the beginning. Yes. We stop doing them and we think like, yeah, she's still going to love me. She's still going to feel passionate, or she still wants to have sex with me. Yes, she may want to have sex with you, but can you have a different type of sex night? That's allowing her to explore like my naughtiness, my mystery, like let it come alive, right? It's totally different.
Beautiful. So there you have it. The biggest trigger that you're going to have is, how do you help your women grow at the same pace that you're growing? And the only answer to that is you fucking grow first. You expand first. You level up first. You show up. You are consistent, even in every aspect of your life. And your woman will only follow the lead that you're setting, and she will follow the pace that you're setting. Thank you, babe. Thank you for being here. Thank you for answering some questions.
I love it.
And until next time, learn it, live it, experience it.
Love life.
Love life. If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take them to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.